Welcome to Episode 8 of the Sweet Natured Cruisecast. Hi, I'm Linz, as always I'm joined by Marky.
Hello.
Hello, and today we're talking about things that annoy us while we're on a cruise. But first, a little mood music.
I'm guessing, looking at your face, you weren't impressed with this week's intro music.
No.
I shall keep working on that.
Yes, please do.
Please keep checking back in at episodes. Eventually we will find something that we like. We're only on episode 8, so why would we have figured it out by now? Anyway, topic of the show
Yes.
is things that annoy us about cruising.
Yeah.
Or more accurately, things that annoy us when we're on a cruise.
Yes, and I feel this is going to be quite cathartic.
Is it going to be where you can just vent an awful lot?
Well, my first thing is that you're giving me orange juice.
Yeah, but we're recording this at 11:30.
But we're talking about something very important. And
would that have been better with vodka in it?
Probably.
Okay. Well, I will treat you after the podcast to something a little bit more alcoholic.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. So, and of course, once we've finished doing the topic of the show, we'll then go through the news stories. Again, you don't know what they're going to be.
No.
And we'll talk about them. We've got 3 towards the end of the episode. But let's start off with the topic then. What is it that you really dislike, or that gets you go, or that annoys you when we go on a cruise?
That me?
Yeah,
Start with me?
Yeah, I know there's lots of things, but I'll let you start off.
I'm going to start off with running the gauntlet.
What do you mean?
So when you're on a cruise and then suddenly somebody pops up and says, would you like to book a spa treatment? Would you like to book this? I can't even say it. I'm that annoyed. And it just, I don't like it. I don't like it. I always feel...
Where you're being sold to, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, in terms of running the gauntlet, the only cruise line I can think of that really works in that way is MSC.
Oh, yeah.
To get from one end of their promenade to the other, you're probably going to be tempted to be sold to like 5-6 times at least on boarding day.
So you've got the drinks package, you've got the dining package, you've got the spa treatments, you've got the show. So 4 times.
Yeah, but then as you go through the cruise, especially on MSC in that one particular area, don't get me wrong, it's not bad around the rest of the ship.
No.
But on that particular area, it's not just on boarding days. I've come to expect it a little bit, and I guess you have too, that on embarkation day, they try to sell drinks packages or dining packages or get you on a spa tour. We've just come to expect that on most mainstream cruise lines.
Yes.
Don't know if it's exactly the same on the ultra-luxury ones, but given that we've not been on them yet, we can't really comment. But on the mainstream, we've just kind of come to expect it. But on MSC, when you talk about running that gauntlet, I think, one, because they don't just have a single port of embarkation.
No.
Each port you can get on and get off.
Yeah.
But I think that it's just part of that ship. It's there all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's whether it's the spa, the drinks, the dining, but then another time they might be trying to sell a facial treatment and
soap, €120 soap.
Yeah.
With a bowl.
For me, it's, I mean, we're talking about MSC there, but other ones do it as well.
Caribbean do it.
They do.
P&O do it.
And I think different ones to different degrees. And whilst we're talking about things that annoy us, obviously we love cruising.
Yes.
These are bits that if we could do away with it, we would do. I get that a lot of the money that the cruise lines make is after you've already paid your fare.
Yeah.
Paying your fare for them is like the break even a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not even that in some cases. But then the bit where they're making profit on you is when you're actually on the ship and spending money.
Yes.
And to a degree, I don't have a problem with that. You don't have to say yes. It's just when it's ongoing that it's more annoying for me.
Well, Celebrity, they had somebody from the spa in the solarium. So every time if you're in there, every time you go past to go to the bathroom or something, would you like, no.
Yeah, but I think once you said no to them once, they do recognise that.
No, but then I might be in there longer than what the person is.
So they get you on the way back out as well.
So this
that's bad timing if that happens.
Yeah, I don't like it. Have a little pop up so that people can go to it, because there are genuinely people that want to purchase
There is,
it.
and all of the cruise lines that I can think of, certainly mainstream ones, all have sort of sale type stuff, and we'll come back to that later on because that's one of the bits I want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there are things that's in there, but it's that running a gauntlet where you're getting accosted. Sounds like a really strong word, but you're getting sort of proposed a lot.
Well, you psychologically, you're on holiday, you're in a good frame of mood. You know you're going to be spending some money. I don't want it forced upon me.
No, it feels a little bit sometimes like when you go to like a souk, a marketplace, or you're on a beach at certain resorts where there's just people around constantly trying to sell to you.
Yeah, we don't want that.
You don't necessarily want that. So,
no, that's one thing.
I'd like to see them do a lot less of that.
Yeah.
For me, one of my real pet hates,
Mm-hmm.
and this has happened for as long as we've done it. And to be fair, doesn't just apply to cruising that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I've seen it in land-based holidays as well. But it's when people talk down to other passengers or vacation people, or in particular when they talk down to staff.
To the crew.
Yeah.
They talk at them, not to them.
Yeah.
There's no please, no thank you, no nothing.
No, there's just an expectation of entitlement.
Oh, I hate it.
And
that's so annoying.
It is, because manners don't cost anything.
Manners maketh the man.
They do, according to Colin Firth in Kingsman. And also according to our parents from World War.
It's quite an old saying, darling.
No, it's Colin Firth. It's Kingsman. I'm sure Matthew Vaughan wrote that one. But it doesn't, as you said, take any effort to say please and thank you, or to smile and ask if they're having a good day.
Yeah.
Anything like that.
It's classier. It's much classier to be that way.
I mean, I've never understood whether they think they're going to get better service off the back. Because if I'm that member of the crew, and I'm not saying they do, if someone were talking to me like that, I would be deliberate. I mean, it's probably why I'm not working on a cruise like that. I'd deliberately be getting the drinks wrong, the food would be cold when it came out. I just would go out of my way to
why
make it
would
worse.
You be such a... I was going to swear then, but why would you be so...
Well, I think you can say be such a dick.
I was going to say ass, but okay.
Either of those things are fine. I've just never understood the logic. I mean, like I said, we've seen this not just on cruise holidays.
No, I don't like it. And I don't like it.
And I just don't think there's any need for it.
No.
You do. I think I've probably seen it more on a cruise holiday. But I think that's because you're in sort of closer quarters with people.
Yeah.
And that's why maybe you notice it more. And you sat at a table and you can hear sort of the table next to you.
Oh,
sort of,
I want to go hit him with my menu. I just
just go have a slap down. No.
It's not big and it's not clever, and it doesn't make you look like you're wealthy, and it just makes you look tacky. Makes you look really tacky. So stop it. And tacky's not classy.
No, you've been told by Linzi that's an official warning. If you do it again, you'll be on the naughty step.
And if you do it, and I can see you, I'm gonna start staring people. I'm gonna start staring them down because it's awful. It's awful.
It's just, I think part of it is just how people are brought up, and it's human nature to a degree, but it doesn't mean that I like it, and I find it
makes me feel really uncomfortable.
So that's the second thing that annoys me.
And I can't believe you've given me orange juice to continue this conversation.
No, but you can. It's therapeutic. You find it's like a detox.
Okay.
So that's why you've got orange juice.
Okay.
And because I forgot to put vodka in it.
Okay.
Mainly because it's still pre-lunchtime at the time.
Yeah, but it's a very, very touchy subject.
It'll be really interesting to see what people put in the comments, and please do put in the comments of sort of your pet peeves, the things that you really dislike, that annoy you on the cruise.
They're going to say influencers and bloggers.
People with big cameras filming. We don't have a big camera.
We do it very stealthy.
We're not talking at the table.
No.
So I'm not going to say vloggers and influencers.
But I bet it's on the list.
Yeah, I'm sure it is for some people.
Yeah.
Because it's not just cruise bloggers and cruise vloggers and cruise influencers. It's you get them from all avenues,
sectors, all fields.
And I think people who do more cruise focused content are probably more aware
and be a bit
of it.
discreet.
Yeah, and I think people who don't,
Yeah.
and maybe not.
Okay, I don't.
Anyway, we've gone on a tangent there.
We certainly
because that doesn't annoy me, but like I said, might annoy other people.
I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will.
What's another of your pet peeves? Things that annoy you?
Spa prices.
Spa prices. That came out without any thought.
Does my head in.
Have you been putting a list together while you've been thinking of this?
Does my head in.
Why?
Because they're stupid. They're stupid prices. And then what they do then is you get your planner and then they've got an offer on and they'll bring them down and bundle them together. So there'll be more sort of land-based.
More reasonable. So when you're saying the price is stupid, are you comparing it to what they are on land?
To some fancy-ass hotel spa jobby.
Look at you with the fruity language again.
It just, like, come on. Just...
No, I do get it. There are one or two cruise lines where the pricing is more reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
But generally speaking, you are paying a premium for...
And then if you do it, you go on, you think, you know what, I'll treat myself. We'll do it. We'll have a spa.
You're going to go on to one of my things that I hate.
Then you get the hard sell.
Damn it, that's one of mine.
It gets
that was properly one of my bits.
It gets me so... The anxiety, it's just so much.
Yeah.
They're going to start flogging me that. They're selling me that 100 and... Do you remember when we've spent $120 on bath salt sachets?
I remember when you spent $120 on bath salt sachets. I don't remember me ever spending...
I think they stay in the bath, and it was not... It was...
That was the Elemis ones as well.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying that they're bad products. I'm not saying they're not worth it. But if I want to buy that, I'll buy that when I'm at home.
Drunk.
Normally when I've had a few drinks and it pops up on some shopping channel, like, oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
That, I mean, it follows on nicely from the spa one there, but that was in one of my ones, which is that getting to the end of if you've had a spa trip, you've had a massage, you're all really relaxed, and then you start to tense up because you're like, they're going to come in any second now and try and do a hard sell on me.
Yeah.
Now, I am aware that if you tell them beforehand that you don't want to be pushed to anything at the end of it, they won't try and sell you it.
No.
But you've got to do that. And the inner Brit in me.
Yeah, I can't do it.
No, I'm sure a lot of people don't have a problem saying, look, just don't sell me anything at the end of it.
You know, we get the note paper in the stateroom. Maybe we just write them a little note
before we start
and say, please don't try and sell me any stuff. I've had this is a treat for me anyway.
I don't want to spend more.
I don't want to spend same again on
well, that's it, because I mean, when you talk about the treatments being expensive, they're expensive compared to on land, for sure.
Yes, definitely.
And they do alter from cruise ship to cruise ship. Some are really expensive, some are expensive, some occasionally they're not too bad price. But then you have the gratuity put on top. Anywhere between 15 and 20% on top of that.
And then you feel, well, I'm going to have to put a little bit on as well.
Yeah, so you feel kind of obligated to give them something direct. And then you try and sell it, and all of a sudden you say, it hasn't cost you double what your treatment costs. It might have cost you, multiple times that. And for me, if I am going to spend the money and go to the spa, which we have done, we have had the massages, we had couples massages, and they've all been lovely apart from that end part. So going back to your part of it, if they're going to be doing these constant bonuses, and pretty much every day there's a different spa bonus,
different offer on,
then just set the pricing at that.
Yeah.
Don't have special ones.
No.
Because if it was, for instance, £100 for a couple's massage.
It's never going to be £100.
No, let's say it was for a 45-minute massage.
Well, this is unrealistic now, see.
Yeah, but if it was, I would, but that seems good value.
Well, that would
if
really
it's $350, I'm probably not going to...
No, well, I think Virgin, it wasn't that $475.
Yeah, expensive.
And that was 50 minutes or something?
Yeah.
Come on, guys, no.
Yeah.
No.
So let's just have some prices that you don't have to constantly drop down all the time.
No.
You're going to be quiet on port days. Have a separate port day price list. Encourage people to book in advance.
Yeah.
On there.
Yeah.
And encourage
the technology. We have the technology.
And also, now most cruise lines do let you do this, but there are a couple that don't. If you've got onboard credit, let us use it in the spa. Don't limit us as to where we can use that onboard credit, because I get that some of the cruise lines, well, all of the cruise lines have third parties that run the spa facilities. I think
they do.
Like Canyon Ranch and organisations like that, but not all of them, even where it's the third parties run it, will let you spend your cruise credit on it.
No.
And for a lot of people, they've already bought drinks packages.
Yeah.
They're not bothered about speciality down there. They've already booked it. Spend it in there. It's a good way to spend it.
Yeah.
What next? What's your next pet peeve?
Well, it's interesting that you talked about cruise credit, and that is not being able to spend my cruise credit before I get on the ship.
And you don't mean going down to your local shop?
No.
You mean spending it in advance on what you want on
Using the system to book things like specialty dining or spa treatments, not that I would, because it's stupid. And it's that kind of thing. Why? So Royal Caribbean will let you do it, Celebrity will let you do it. If you get some cruise credit, it will apply it.
Yeah, and it encourages you to spend it.
Yeah. Cunard, no. Princess, no. P&O, no.
No.
It's just like, come on. It's 2024, people.
Well, for me, I mean, we've talked about this a lot before.
Yeah.
Because there's that element of frustration for it. Because if, let's say you've got $1,000 on board.
Oh, that's a lot of cruise credit.
Well, that's what we've got when we're going on one of our ships later this year. We can't spend that in advance, but we're thinking about getting the drinks package.
Yeah.
But if we wait till we get on the ship for the drinks package, it's more expensive than if we buy it in advance.
Yeah.
So you're getting penalised for doing that. But then it's such a big amount of cruise credit that we're going to be a big chunk of the drinks package.
Yeah.
So let me spend it, because guess what? When I'm on board, if I don't have any cruise credit, I'm still going to spend more money.
Exactly. That's the thing. You start from zero again.
Yeah. Whereas if you've got cruise credit when you go on, you're
that's
we've got
in
900 left, 800, so
yeah.
whatever that figure is.
Yeah.
And I think you'll probably spend...
You would probably spend more.
We definitely spent more on Celebrity Apex because by the time we'd got on, we'd spent all of our cruise credit.
On things.
We'd booked specialty dining, excursions, etc. And then we went and spent more.
Yeah.
And I don't get why, apart from maybe technical reasons. Now, it could be that... No, it could be the systems are not geared up. If you look, you mentioned Royal Caribbean and Celebrity, same company, part of Royal Caribbean International, and they may have different systems internal that let them do it. If it's within the same cruise company and they're not allowing the sharing of technology, then it's different. You mentioned Princess there. The functionality that you have on Princess via their app and their Medallion one compared to, for instance, P&O and Cunard is completely different.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the same parent company. They just don't swap the technology between it.
No.
So, yeah, I'm with you. Absolutely, for me, there's no justification why you shouldn't be allowed to spend that. And even if they've not got the technology to let the app do it, or they don't have an app, not all of them have a proper app. Often they'll have a web page that doubles as that. Then let us ring up.
Yeah.
And book it. You know, if I'm going on P&O, let me ring P&O up and book the drinks package.
And use it. Yeah.
So I don't get it. They're giving you the money. Let's spend it, and we'll spend more when we're on board.
Yeah.
Next one for me is around disembarkation, and it's twofold.
Okay.
So I think you'll be with me on one of them. I think you're with me on both.
Okay.
It's where, let's say we're on a 7-night cruise.
Yeah.
And they start giving you the disembarkation information and your luggage tags to get off with like 3 or 4 nights to go.
Hey,
psychologically, you're then going, oh, I'm near end of melody. You're like, and I'm not even halfway through yet.
No, it's normally when you're on a shorter cruise that I notice it more. But it's just...
We've had it where we've got on the cruise and had the disembarkation labels and information there.
When?
When we were on Princess recently.
Yeah, but we were on halfway
for 5 ways through, but it was on there on the day we got on.
That's a different thing. No, I'm with you. It's upsetting when you walk in and find them on your bed. Why place them on your bed in the...
Well, no, they put everything on the bed so that it's there and you don't lose it.
I don't have a problem. It's a really safe space. Don't put them on the bed.
Don't taint it with the darkness of disembarkation.
Yeah, put them on the side. We can see them. Just don't put them on the bed, because it might as well be a Dear John letter. Dear Mark and Lindsay, your time with us is up. Thank you. We enjoyed the journey together, but we've got to be realistic in this day.
We're both going different ways.
Now we're going separate ways. We hope we can, you think about us in a good way, but now here's your stuff and sod off.
Bluntly. I mean, that brings me on to the second part of the disembarkation.
Okay.
And again, this doesn't apply to every ship.
All right.
So I'm going to clarify a little bit on there. A good example of what annoys. I'm going to say how someone does it good compared to bad.
Okay.
So when you are coming up to getting off on the day of disembarkation,
yes,
it's when cruise lines, clearly you're not their highest priority anymore.
Nope.
Let's be nice.
You're done.
It's like, right, we want you out of your room by 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock. The breakfast that you get in that morning is reduced down, or you've just got to go to this point here.
Yeah.
Then you got to sit in this room because we don't want you wandering around the ship.
No.
And you stay there until we tell you can get off.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. I understand that they've got to have orders for people to get off, the luggage needs to be ready, etc. I don't have a problem with that. It's the, right, we're done with you as a paying customer now.
Yeah.
There are some where if you've got, for instance, like a drinks package that includes specialty coffees, they'll let you still use it in the morning that you get enough, because as far as I'm concerned, I'm still on the ship at that point.
Yeah.
There are others who say, no, you can't use it after midnight on the night before. It's like, well, hang on, I bought it for the days that I'm on there. So it's that piece. When we got off of Celebrity Apex in the States, it was very much we were sort of kept waiting in a particular area for about an hour and a half with just no information, even though we were sort of on just a regular transfer back. And then when we got off, there were no one from Celebrity to point you to where the coach is, and it was Celebrity transfer that we'd got. There were no signage. It was just very poorly done for such
that was a bad breakup.
That was the bad breakup. Especially when we've been on there, 14 nights, 16 nights?
16,
yeah, so I don't think they do it well. Now, I'm going to flip it, even though we're talking about things that annoy us, as to ones that do it well. Virgin do incredibly well.
Oh, it's more like a hotel, though, isn't it?
Well, I mean, you get on a little bit later at Virgin as well.
Yeah.
When you get off of Virgin, it's like, yeah, there's no rush to leave your cabin. Come out about 10:30, that's fine. Which
means then you can go have your breakfast, leave your things in there, come back and clean your teeth. Because if you've got quite a long journey home, cleaning your teeth,
been freshen up.
Yeah, after your breakfast is a nice thing. Get yourself all organised.
It is. They really encourage you to have a proper breakfast with them.
Yes.
It's just not a rushed situation at all.
No.
And it's like, yeah, we want you to come back.
Yeah.
It's really wanting you to feel like
it's a happy ending.
A prized customer.
Yeah.
All the way through.
Yeah.
What did you say? It's a happy ending. I'm not going to say it's that's good an experience.
No, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. You know what I mean.
I do know what you mean. It's getting off a cruise at the end of it. It's never nice because it's the end of a holiday. Usually you might be going and getting on. But for most people, it's the end of your vacation.
A happy ending.
It's as nice a one. You're doubling down with that one, aren't you?
That's what it is.
It's as nice an end to a vacation as you can get. So if they can do it, the other cruise lines just as easy as well. Yeah. Now, that's a cruise line that's only been going 4 years. There's no excuse for cruise lines that have been going much, much longer. Just can't get that right. Well. Do you have any other annoyed bits? If not, I've got one more.
You've got one more?
Yeah. But I'm giving you the chance first.
I feel that I've got so wound up, I can't remember what I'm going to say.
How did you? For anyone that's watching the back too, Lindsay's there, sort of giving herself little hugs.
Yeah.
It's, like I say, it's kind of therapy.
It is kind of therapy. I do have one.
Go for
it. Maybe it was the one you were thinking of as well.
It might be.
When you're on the drinks package.
It's not the one I was thinking of.
Okay. And you then decide to order a drink that's over the drinks package, which can happen.
I didn't think of this either.
Of course I'm going to think of this one.
Yeah, you would.
When you order the cocktail that you want, and it's not on the drinks package, and then they go, oh, well, we're not going to charge you the difference. We'll pay you the full price, but you get a 30% discount.
Usually 20% on that.
Oh, thanks. Cheers for that. I hate that. Yeah. That's so annoying.
I do. There's quite a few that do that.
Yes.
I think there's now more that don't do that.
Don't do it.
But
it's tacky. Just don't do it.
The big lines, some of them do it, some don't do it. So P&O does do that. Cunard does that.
Do Cunard do it?
Cunard does
I
that.
thought you paid the difference.
No, Cunard charge you.
Cunard?
But what you've got within your limit is much better on there compared to, say, P&O. From how we use the drinks packages. So we've not really ever noticed it as much. It's incredibly frustrating because there are a lot of the cruise lines that have some really fancy cocktails that you might want to get, or you might want to have a really fancy spirit. If you got let's say a $10 allowance,
it's not.
No, but I'm just doing it because it's easy maths. And you see there's a really nice whiskey that you want to have.
Okay.
And that's $25. Well, why not encourage someone to spend an extra $15 with you when they're on board? Instead of getting them to pay $20,
which they won't
be
do.
the 25 less.
No, they won't do. They might do it once if it was the birthday.
But when you're in, for instance, on Celebrity Apex, when we went into Eden, they have some fantastic cocktails on there. And when we went on it, which was sort of November 23, the vast majority of the cocktails on the ship, or the martini bar, were all included within the premium. No. I think most of them are included in the premium.
Yeah, there's a lot.
It's the sort of basic one that classic, I think, is what we call it. But when we went into Eden, they have a couple of ones in there that are like between $18 and $25, and we upgraded to all of them.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
and we paid the extra $2-3 because we're like, it's worth it. We want to try it, and it just encouraged us.
And it's not annoying.
No, and I'm with you. I don't get why cruise drinks packages have to be so different on every ship.
No, they're going to say that they've looked at the audience, they've looked at the data, and this is what the guests want.
Yeah, I don't believe there's any guest that doesn't want to pay the difference between a more expensive drink and the drinks package allowance.
No.
If you are one of those people who does just want a discount and don't want to pay it cheaper, please put it in the comments and let us know why, because I honestly can't think of any reason why anyone would want.
No.
So I don't believe that there's an audience thing. I think, again, it goes back to that earlier one of nickel and diming. And we've already got your money as a drinks package. If you want something a bit fancier, we're going to get even more money for you as well.
Yeah. Which is,
let us pay the difference between it.
Yeah. Let's do that.
For those that don't want to spend any more money, they don't have to.
No.
And for those of us that might want to have a fancier cocktail or a fancier spirit occasionally, let us spend more money.
Yeah.
Again, we're trying to spend more money.
In a way that we both like.
Yes, and that's a win-win. My final one, before we go on to the news stories, because I said I touched on it earlier, so I'll come back to it. Pretend sales. I mean, these annoy me on land just as much.
Yeah.
Where you have a closing down sale, 20% off this day, and they put the prices up to bring them down.
Yeah.
Cruise ships seem to do it a lot. It's, on this one day there's a Tanzanite sale, on this next day there's a merchandise sale, and there's it's like with the spa element to it. If you're wanting to sell them at that price, do it at that price. We have been on, I'm going to mention Celebrity Apex again, because that were a genuine sale, because it was the repositioning one, and they were selling off the merch that they'd been selling in the Mediterranean in the summer.
Yes.
And it was different to what they were selling in the Caribbean. So it was genuinely like 60-70% off.
Yeah.
And people were grabbing it in droves.
Yeah.
We even tried to, but there were none of the sizes they wanted at that point.
No.
So there are real genuine sales on them.
Yes.
But it's the one where it's like today's
end of cruise sale.
Yeah, and you're like,
you had an end of cruise last week, love.
Yeah. It's just
so annoying.
Lindsay getting extra northern with this one. But yeah, it's just one of those bits that I find them frustrating. I don't like them as sale land. I don't like them on the ship. Have genuine sales, have genuine offers on.
Just
don't insult my intelligence by me thinking that it's the best sell and the only time you're ever going to do it.
Yes.
We all know it's not.
No.
Do you feel better for getting all those things out of your system?
No.
Will it make you feel better when there's some vodka in your drink later on?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we'll sort that out shortly.
Thank you.
Let's get on to the news stories.
Okay.
So we've got 3 news stories, as usual.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to start off with P&O again.
Oh.
Now, P&O have made a couple of wild news stories over the last couple of months that we've been doing these.
Yeah.
They've just announced who their new air travel partners are from November 24, so in a few months' time, through to March 25. Most people listening to this will know of the
Maleth
disaster from both a PR point of view and people's experience. It's just not been good. And it will come as no surprise to anyone that they've not renewed that contract.
Yeah. Is it that they've decided not to renew it, and that Malloth are busy with some other types of flights?
Well, all that their press release is that they have officially said that they have learned lessons over the last year.
Yeah.
Which
everybody can see.
The only bit where everyone's talking about from that is Malloth. And they didn't say we're really grateful to Malloth for the last year or anything like that. So going back to that break, it's just the potential that they didn't exist.
Yeah.
So what they've now done, they've doubled down on the contract with TUI, who they've been using for a long time.
Yeah.
And no one seems to have any
No.
They've brought on North Atlantic Airways.
Oh, North, lovely.
They're going to do weekly flights from Manchester to Barbados.
Nice.
And then they're doing one flight a fortnight from Heathrow for Virgin.
Wonderful.
So that's for, if you're going on to P&O on Britannia or Harvey while they're in their winter season in the Caribbean, that's definitely going to be of interest to you.
I hope it doesn't mess with the pricing too much, but that's nice.
I don't think it will do, because I said they had two before. The Virgin one was the one that surprised me, because they're chartering a flight from them every 2 weeks, which I can't imagine was the cheapest thing. But, well done to them. And what they have said is that all of the ones now all have in-flight entertainment, which Malloth didn't.
No.
They all offer sort of premium options, and they also have multiple classes that you can choose. So if you want to be in economy, premium, business.
Can I just say something about
You
this?
can say anything.
I would just like to put this out there to any cruise lines who's looking to partner with an airline. I wouldn't use the airline where you book the plane using an info@ email address. That's not.
Because that's on Malloth's website, isn't it? To get in touch, the only way to get in touch with them is via info@.
An info@ email address.
Yeah.
So I would say that out to anyone
who's looking at their future partners.
Yes.
As to who to use.
Yes.
Now, we never experienced Malloth ourselves.
No, we didn't.
We genuinely can't comment. But we watched an awful lot.
Oh, poor Jamie.
We had Jamie on here.
Yeah.
On the previous episode.
Yeah.
And he's talked an awful lot about it.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a one-off incident with Malloth. There were a lot of them. So, well done to P&O. They have realised that.
It was always going to happen, P&O, and that's annoying. That's annoying for people.
People could see it right from the start.
Yeah.
But I think at that point, these are not ones where you can suddenly go, right, we're going to change the airline tomorrow.
No.
There'll have been contracts in place.
Yes,
also logistics of getting another part.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely positive that P&O would have wanted rid of Malloth pretty much as soon as they got them. As soon as the sort of negative PR started.
Yeah, because
but it's taken time to get to that.
Yeah.
But well done, at least.
I will be quiet. I mean, that's more of my drink.
From there. Alcohol-free drink.
My alcohol.
News story number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Celebrity has announced it's improving its retreat offering.
Okay.
Their retreat is their sweet neighbourhood.
Yes, yeah.
With lots of bits in. And I'm really interested to see what you think about these. They are offering a new butler chat via WhatsApp.
Okay.
So you can get in touch with your butler 24/7 via WhatsApp.
I never know what to do with my butler, though.
Well, it's not a thing that we've had a regular issue.
We've had it once.
We've had one butler. And it was brilliant. We figured out what to...
that time he delivered that meringue pie.
That was very good.
That lemon meringue. Oh.
Great lovely. They've also changed the in-suite dining menu with options for breakfast, lunch and dinner.
Okay, lovely.
Which is nice. Apparently improved the foods in Luminae.
Nice, because you do get a different choice. It's not like... NCL where you do get a different menu every day.
And the works on.
Okay.
And they are changing what premium wines they've got.
Nice.
Introducing more of them, as well as improving the priority luggage drop-off and the embarkation.
Okay, so
when not only the drop-off, but the delivery to your room.
Lovely.
Which I think that's a really nice bit. When you're on the ship, you want your luggage just
paid all that money. Goodness.
Yeah. So, any thoughts on any of their sort of tweaks?
No. I'm.
Does it make you want to go on retreat more?
I didn't know we were going on retreat, but
we're not at the moment. But does it make you want to go on it more, or do you think it's just if you booked it, you would be like, "Oh, that's a nice extra"?
I think I probably think that
it won't make you want to sign up for it more.
No.
No, I don't. I don't think it's...
It's a value add.
Yeah, I think if you're in there, you're going to be like, this is great. It'll be interesting to see how things like the WhatsApp function works with it.
Yeah.
And it'll be just interesting to see the feedback on it.
Yeah.
Well done.
As long as they don't respond in GIFs.
They send you a thumbs up.
I bet they do. I bet you do.
They do. Final news story.
Okay.
Oceania, which is not one that we feature on here a lot because we've not been on them.
No.
We've
got friends who have been and they love it.
Yeah, everyone who's been on it loves it. Yeah. So we will get on eventually. But they've got a new ship coming.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's called Allura.
Oh, nice. I like that.
And can you guess what's coming next in this story?
What?
What normally comes next when I talk about a new ship coming out?
Has it been delayed?
No, it's coming out early.
What?
Yeah. And the more impressive thing, it's being built at Fincantieri and it's coming out early, which the last batch of ships, Sun Princess, Queen Anne, etc., Brilliant Lady, they've come out there. I'm hoping substantially late.
Wow.
Allura is coming out a week earlier. Oh. So they're now doing a new inaugural.
Yeah,
which is going directly out of, is it Trieste?
Trieste.
Where the shipyard is.
Northern Italy.
Yeah. So going out of there, sailing down to Athens.
Okay.
On July 18th. Mm-hmm. It was originally due to be coming out of Athens on the 24th.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the bits that I really liked about that and why it's on the news that I wanted to talk about was that before they made it public to anyone, they got in touch with all the passengers on the original inaugural and gave them the option to move to the new one.
That's how you do it.
If they wanted to do it.
That's how you do it.
Now, it's only a 6-night sailing. I don't know if the one next time, the one on the 24th was longer.
That's how you do it.
I thought that were a really good way.
Oh.
Okay. So one, it's a ship being delivered early from Fincantieri. That in itself might be a miracle. But just really well handled.
Wow. Yeah. What a lovely thing to end on.
I thought
we've been talking about annoying things.
Annoying things, and you were genuinely expecting that to be a delay there.
Yeah. That's nice. That makes me feel better.
Good. I'm glad that's... Well, we're virtually at the end of the episode. So the next episode, we have another special guest joining us.
We do.
So that'll be 2 weeks today that one's out. So I hope you enjoy that.
Mm-hmm.
And that brings us up to the end of the episode. So it just remains me to say, cheers, Linz.
Cheers, darling. Thank you for listening and have a lovely day.